Good evening, everyone. Welcome to At Lafayette Live for Monday, December 9th, 2025. Hope your week's off to a great start this week. I know mine is. It is well and truly into the month of December now. We're more than a full weekend, so I hope that you guys are enjoying the prep for the holiday season here coming up towards the end of the month. However and wherever you celebrate, hopefully everybody's getting a good bit of time off. It is definitely dark early these days, but I tell you what, had a bit of a warm spell these last couple of days. My kids actually went out to the park to play today. It was so nice, so I'll take that. I mean, we actually had the windows open for a few minutes yesterday just to help move some air around the house after being closed up because of the cold. Now we're supposed to have another cold snap here in a couple of days, but not like we had with this Arctic chill that was blasting in. So what's the weather like out by you? So let me know. As you guys come on into the stream, let me know in the chat where you're from. It's always fun seeing where everybody's from, where you're watching from. A lot of times we have some people here in Lafayette watching at Lafayette Live. Lafayette and West Lafayette, Battleground, Oxford, Otterburn, Benton County, the surrounding areas. Occasionally we get some viewers from the Indianapolis area. We love it when you join us, so let us know if you're here. We get some pretty regular viewers from California and Texas and Florida. I think we got some expats here, if you will, some people that perhaps moved down there to get away from the cold. Maybe some snowbirds, maybe some Purdue expats that were here for school and tune in to keep updated with what's going on in the cradle of astronauts here at Purdue University. So welcome everybody. Yeah, I'm so glad that everybody's here. The chat's just scrolling on by. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit today about some updates about things going on here in the Lafayette area, and then we're going to get into a little bit of a market update, and then we'll see what else the evening brings us. So what's going on by you guys? Drop a line in the chat, drop a comment down below if you're watching the recording afterwards, and then make sure that you tune in every Monday at 7 o'clock for At Lafayette Live. But I do have a program note. We will have a show next week, December 16th. I don't think we'll probably have a show on December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas, but maybe we'll do a pop-up show here or there somewhere in the last half of December as the holidays hit us, and it's going to be tough to stick on a regular schedule. So just another 1 or 2 regularly scheduled shows here at the end of the year, and then we'll probably pick back up with our regular schedule early in January, around the first or second week of January. But keep an eye on the channel. We're posting new videos every day, and I anticipate that we probably won't have new videos every day throughout the Christmas break, but there'll be a lot of them, so go check out that content as well. And if you haven't joined us before, hi, thanks for being here. I'm Jeff Gooch, your local Lafayette real estate resource of choice, and I love talking about Lafayette and West Lafayette and all the things that make our home and our community so great, and I'm so glad that you're here. And if there's anything we can do for you to help you find home here in the Lafayette area, go check out the LafayetteReal.com/YouTube and fill out the form and let me know how I and our entire team at App Properties can help you find home here in the Lafayette area. Well, let's get started, shall we? Yes, let's. I turn my phone down. First up, around Lafayette here in the early part of December, the long-awaited plans are finally in motion for the levee project down in West Lafayette. At the corner of State Street and River Road, that project is finally underway. There are buildings that are currently being demolished to make way for the new hotel, retail, and apartment developments that are going to be put in there. Demolition on the first 2 buildings has started. They're starting with Bruno's. I think they've already got the old Bruno's building down, perhaps even. Last time I drove by there, they were making pretty quick progress on that. And then they were going to tear down the old motel. So kind of sad for Bruno's, not so sad for the motel. It's definitely seen better days. That's gone. But if you're down in that area, watch out. There are some street closures. There are definitely some sidewalk closures that are blocked off for that construction. They say it's going to take about 7 weeks for that first phase of demolition, and that's where the building A is going to be. And then they're going to go across the street for building B and start some of the road work over on Howard. And of course, once those demolitions are done, before they can really start building, there's a good bit of utility work and some road reconstruction that's going on down there. Because if you've ever been down in the Levy District, it's a warren of old streets that don't really make sense. They're not in a grid structure, and part of this project is to turn that neighborhood into a neighborhood with a gridded street structure. So they're going to do some road work to reconfigure the streets down there. So like one of the big changes that you'll notice is Nine Irish Brothers is no longer going to have a angular site, but it's going to be a little more square. But there's a lot of utility work to take care of through there. But you can still get to the businesses down there. You can still get to Nine Irish Brothers. And if you know me, I love my Nine Irish Brothers and Wendy's and all the other places down there. So if you're coming off of River Road, just give a little bit of extra patience. You can still get to Roebuck Road, which is named after the Sears and Roebuck that originally anchored that development down there. So give some patience as you're down in that area, and I'm really excited to see what's coming. Are you guys excited to see what's happening in that district down there? And I know we're gonna get a new hotel, maybe 2 new hotels if I remember correctly. I don't have the zoning specs in front of me. And new retail, and I believe some new apartments as well. And it's the sort of thing where there'll be, retail down on the ground floor and apartments up below. So that's been coming for, seems like a very, very long time now. Now it's here. So we will see how that goes. I'll go check it out and get some Nine Irish Brothers and report back to you guys. Take a minute and hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure that you don't miss a minute of all the videos that we post here on Geoff Gooch Realty, at Lafayette Live, and the Lafayette Reel. We love making content about Lafayette and West Lafayette and about all the things that are going on here in town. New developments, real estate, new businesses coming to town, fun things to do in the area. But you're going to miss it. Go hit that subscribe button right now. Go do it. And you can also load contact information by hitting this QR code right there if you're watching this from your TV, as I do. I enjoy watching YouTube on my TV using my Apple TV. Next up, for update news here in the Lafayette area, the developer taps brakes at Purdue's Provenance as homeowners balk at the rezone. There is a new neighborhood that has been undergoing construction over the last couple, 3-4 years over on the west side of the Purdue campus, just right on 26 on State Street, taking over land that was originally married student housing and out in that direction with all of the new development down there out in the Discovery Park district. And Provenance is the residential neighborhood down there. And the development that's happened down there so far is that there's one apartment building that anchors the eastmost end of the development, but then there's a neighborhood of single-family homes and townhouses. Now, these homes and townhouses are not cheap. The townhouses, not the homes, the townhouses start at like $500,000. So this is not a budget neighborhood. Well, the developer, Old Town Design Group, claimed that they were having some trouble selling and fulfilling all of the targets they needed to hit. And so they had gone to West Lafayette and asked to rezone nearly 10 acres of this $130 million Provenance planned development. And they wanted to change it from single family to brownstone style apartments. 197 units instead of 88 single-family homes and townhomes that were originally laid out. And this was going to be in phase 3 through 5 of what was going to eventually be an 8-phase development in the neighborhood. And the existing homeowners, and I'm not sure how many are out there right now, I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 or 30, balked, threw a fit, said, absolutely not. You promised us when we purchased here what this neighborhood was going to be. I think they had concerns about the values of their homes and what an apartment complex might do to that value. And I think they were also concerned about just the style of neighborhood that they were going to live in. I think there are a couple of different concerns going on there, but the homeowners managed to make enough noise that Old Town Design Group, who's based in Carmel, has asked West Lafayette to hold off for at least a month. Now, this change in zoning has already been recommended by the Area Planning Commission back in August on a 10-5 vote, so 2/3 in favor. So that passed. The Area Plan Commission signed off on it, and then the city was going to have to sign off on it. What does this 1-month delay actually mean? Is this just a stalling tactic to get these homeowners out of the headlines and so they can barrel ahead? Is this so that Old Town Design Group can sit down and speak with the homeowners about their concerns? Is this Old Town Design Group reconsidering its options for things that it might want to do going forward? I don't know. I've tried to talk to a few of the players, and nobody's really saying a whole lot publicly right now on the record about where this is heading. So pay attention to this. It's been an interesting couple of weeks to follow in here. One of the things that people talk to me about all the time, and probably some of you that are watching right now talk to me about all the time, is the want and need for condos close to Purdue University. I speak a lot about students, whether you're undergrad or master's or PhD students, about the value of purchasing a home versus renting while you're here at Purdue. And one of the most economical ways to do that, one of the ways that balances investing in yourself versus the amount of maintenance and labor and time that you're going to have to put into a place is a condo versus a single family home, both on like a square footage basis and number of rooms, but also on, how much support you're going to get from maintenance and your HOA and that sort of thing. And a condo development kind of bakes a lot more of that in, even more so than even a townhouse or a normal single family neighborhood HOA. Old Town Design Group claimed that they originally had a block of condos in this development, I think further to the west, not in the same area as Provenance, but over towards one of the labs that I'm drawing a blank on. And they scrapped those plans and are going to put in more retail, I believe, because they weren't getting enough interest there. I'm really shocked at that. I think what's going on there is that they weren't getting enough interest at the price point that they wanted to sell at. And I'm going to be blunt about that. I mean, $500,000 for a townhouse in Provenance is not cheap. When the median price in the area, I mean, that's almost, I think, 2/3 higher than the median here in the Lafayette area. Let me pull that up real quick and see what my spreadsheet says that so our median in West Lafayette through the end of September, so it's about 60 days past, but it hasn't shifted much, was $361,000. So they want $500,000 for a townhouse, not twice the median, but 50% more than the median for a townhouse. And so when they say that they weren't getting interest in these condos, they weren't getting interest for the condos at what they wanted to sell them at. And I honestly don't know what it is they wanted to sell them at. I'm not entirely sure how I missed that. I don't know if they just sent a few feelers out. but there didn't seem like there was ever any sort of real marketing effort behind that. So I'm not saying that they did a bait and switch by any means, but it just doesn't really add up. And I think that that's just the nature of an organization that's going to develop a large area like that versus what a community actually needs, and those two things not necessarily always aligning. So really kind of thought that was shocking. But as a result, not as a result, but going on downstream from that, they decided that they wanted to try to put in these apartments in the actual Provenance neighborhood. And the neighbors said no. We'll see where this goes. I'll keep an eye on this, and I'm sure that you'll hear some updates from me in the coming weeks and months. I mean, the holding for the month, I think that was going to push from the December meeting of the West Lafayette Council to January. So look for some updates on that in the new year. What do you guys think about that? I mean, development coming to West Lafayette, adjacent to Purdue. I mean, really right in the heart of Purdue in many ways. I mean, this was land that basically Purdue de-annexed to create this development. Is this shocking to you? Is this exactly what you thought was going to happen? Are you interested in buying a house, a townhouse at $500,000 in West Lafayette? Well, if you are, come talk to me. I'd love to sell you one. I'm not sure it's really a great investment, but if you got that kind of cash rattling around in the change cup in your car, and that's what you want to do, sure, I'll help you out with that. Sure. So there you go. Those are the two updates that I have here for Lafayette and West Lafayette on December 9th. Last week, we kind of delved into some unique Christmas activities here in the area, and I could go on and on and on about Christmas activities, really all month long, but we're not going to do that today. Today, we are going to dig in to a monthly update on the real estate market here in Tippecanoe County. We're going to take a look back on the data for the year to date through the end of November to see what this data is telling us about your home. If you're here in the area and you're curious what your investment looks like right now, if you're thinking about moving here to the Lafayette area, if you're thinking about coming to Purdue and buying a house, learn a little more about what's going on in the area, what you might have to look forward to. If you're here in the area and you need a bigger home, we can talk about what the current value of your home is versus the value of your next home and what that differential is going to be. And then the flip side, maybe you need to downsize. Well, what does your nest egg investment look like versus your downsize? So let's dig into this. We're going to look at a market update for Tippecanoe County, Lafayette and West Lafayette in December of 2024. First off, we're going to look at average daily inventory. And this is a number that tells us how many homes were for sale each day of the month. And we can see the headline here, 214. Let's come over and look at the graph. And we're basically at the top of a hill that we've been climbing since February of last year. January, February is pretty much always the low point of the year. You can really tie it to the weather outside. And it has grown from a low of about 104. Slow, steady moves month over month over month. No giant spikes, just small gains month over month. So now we're sitting at 214. That is an 8% month over month growth. And most importantly, it's 26% year over year. What does that number tell us? That's really good, right? More houses on the market is good? Yes and no. This tells us a few things. First off, In a balanced market here in Tippecanoe County, we should have about 300 homes for sale at any given time. And that is for a balanced market. So buyers don't have an advantage, sellers don't have an advantage. So at 214, what is it? It's a seller's market. Sellers still have the advantage. Maybe not quite what they did over the last few years, but they still hold the upper hand. There is still not enough inventory out there. That growing inventory is also a sign of two things, I think, and we'll see if the numbers bear this out. One, more houses entering the market. This is good. We need more houses to sell. People need homes to live in all of the time. People get married, people have babies, people move, people get new jobs, people downsize. There are an endless number of reasons that people have to move. And then there are the people that enjoy and want to move as well. So that is good. I don't think that it's entirely just new homes coming on the market, though. It is also homes staying slightly longer on the market. And we'll get into average and median days on market as we get through these. But I think homes are hanging out a little longer on the market. And that can be good and bad. I think in the short term right now, I think that is more good than bad. But let's go ahead and look at our next chart. New listings by date. So we can see that we had 135 new listings in the month of November. That's actually a decline month over month of minus 19%. But what did I just say? The real estate market is really tied to the weather and to the seasons. We've really hit our peak. June, July should have been the peak. If we actually look at this, the peak of new listings was actually in April and May of this year. I would expect this number to trend down. Down 19% month over month. That's fine. We're up 8% year over year. We should probably be up a little higher than plus 8%, but that is not bad. So this is number of new listings entering the market every month, and it was 135. Now you can see, if you can read this on your screen, this is data that comes from the Indiana Association of Realtors, that their data analysis team, and I've spoken to them in quite some detail about their numbers, and I say, oh, these are realtors, and no, these are actual data analysts that are looking at this raw data and analyzing it and using proper data analysis techniques. They've got an expected range of 149 to 166 based on the previous months. So last month was 167. So they were expecting a decline, but not quite the amount of decline that we got. So does that mean anything negative? No, the numbers are small enough. The individual numbers are small enough. When you're talking about 135 versus 155 versus 1,300 and 1,500, the numbers are small enough that just a couple of numbers difference makes a large percentage difference. So I'm not too concerned about that. Moving on, closed sales. This is transactions that got all the way to the closing table. You signed your name a whole bunch of times. Congratulations, you own a new home, or congratulations, you sold your home and you're not responsible for it anymore. It was 125 in November. Down 20%, 19% month over month. And again, this is kind of the same thing as the last number. The expected range was a little bit higher. The decline was a little more than the analysis suggested it might be. And we're down 7% year over year. Not as many sales in November 2024 as there were in November of 2023. But what's the difference? Well, we sold 125 this year. Sold 135 last year. So a difference of 10, not a huge numerical difference. Again, what I was saying, that a small number can make a large percentage difference. Again, expected. I'd like to see a few more sales, but I think that overall the market is still strong. And we're going to put all this together at the end to talk about what all these numbers mean together. We're just delving in to the details of each chart and number, and then we'll tell the story together at the end. New pending contracts. This is, hey, I saw the house. I'm going to write an offer on it. Congratulations, I've accepted your offer. The seller's accepted your offer. Now let's start the clock ticking to get to the closing table. So new pending contracts. Accepted offers. 116 this year, November of 2024. We are down 17%. Again, double, not quite double, but quite a bit over what the expected dip was. And we're up 1%. So basically we're right on par with last year. So I think the winter is going to be basically right on par with last winter is what we're seeing here. Median days on market. If you have watched almost any of my real estate videos, you have probably heard me talk about median days on market. In the chat, raise your hand if you've heard me talk about median days on market. If you're watching this video later, leave a comment down below and let me know how many times you think you've heard me talk about median days on market. This is the number of days that your house takes from listing to pending. And it's the median. So if 100 homes went to pending in the month, the median would be the 50th house. So so it's the halfway point. It's not the mean, which is the average that we normally think of, where you total everything up and then divide by the number of things that you totaled up. This is the halfway number. And this is because if you have a whole bunch of $300,000 sales and you have $1 million sale, that $1 million sale is going to drag the average up. And it doesn't really, but that's not the entire market. That's an outlier. So that's one of the reasons that I really, really like medians. 13 days in November, an expected range of 12 to 15. No change whatsoever over the last month. Look at that. Dead flat on the graph. And we're up 62% year over year. Last year at this point, it was a number that I don't see right now. But we'll see that in December of last year, it was at about 12. Why is this an important number? Well, let's look at this graph and let's come back to the low point, which is April or July. Let's see, April it was 4, July it was 4. So the low point for the year across all of the county, Tippecanoe County, that's Lafayette and West Lafayette, and all of unincorporated Tippecanoe County, including Battleground and all of the places that are not Lafayette and West Lafayette. Median days on market. If you put your house for sale on a Monday, it takes 4 days to get an accepted offer. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That means if you're looking for a house and it comes on the market, you got to go look on Monday. And then you got to start considering and putting an offer together by Tuesday. You really need to be dotting I's and crossing T's on Wednesday so that you've got it submitted no later than Thursday. That's really, really fast. What if other homes come on the market that you need to compare them to? What if you're not quite sure and you need to take a second look? What if somebody's out of town and you need them to come in and look at the house? 4 days doesn't give you a lot of time to act. And in parts of the county, in the West Lafayette School Corporation, that number was 2 and 3. So on a Friday, you were sold by Sunday. So why is a longer median days on market good? Well, now we're out here at 13. Well, if you're a seller, that means it takes you a little bit longer to get your house sold. A little bit longer. I mean, 3 times as long from when it was 4. But from the buyer's side, that gives them a lot more time. That gives the buyer a lot more time to really consider the home, to make sure it's the one that they want. And then that way, if they make an offer and it's accepted, and then they get to inspection and they just decide, you know, it wasn't the house for me, I'm going to walk away. Yes, I might lose my earnest money, but I just want to find the right house. Having those extra days at the top is going to prevent some amount of that from happening. And I think that's a very, very good thing. A normal number, an average number, should be in the 25 to 30 range. So we're not even in a neutral market here as far as that is concerned as yet. 13 is a lot more, but it's not everything that it should be. Moving on, months of inventory. I believe the number is 3 months for balanced market, and this is if no other houses came on the market, how long would it take to sell the inventory that we currently have? And you can see the current number for November of 24 was 1.7. And we're actually a little bit higher than the expectations. We're up 33% month over month, and we're 36% year over year. And let's look down here at the graph. Look, we're here. It did definitely spike in September at 2 months of inventory. What was going on here? There was a rate cut. You remember all of that? The Fed talking about rate cuts, and everybody's like, are they going to make a rate cut? Are they not going to make a rate cut? And in the week leading up to the rate cut, there was a lot of, somebody thinks they're going to make a 1/4 point. No, I think they're going to make 1/2 point. And then it wound up being a 1/2 point rate cut. And then that rate cut wound up not having the effect on the mortgage market that everybody thought it was going to have. And by everybody, I mean pundits and those who don't really understand. Yeah, that's what was going on here. There was a 2 to 3 week cooling off period leading up to that. And there was a 2 to 3 week period where everybody was digesting that data after it happened. And what did interest rates do? Well, they went down by 1/2, 3/4 of a point in the mortgage market for, I don't know, about a blink of an eye. And now they've been sitting around 7% nationally. And the consensus is that's really where they're kind of going to hang out. So that this big spike almost to 2 really kind of correlates with that time frame. And it also correlates with the number of homes that are taking a little bit longer to sell, means that the total inventory is going up. So new homes continue to come on the market while the ones that came on the market 7 days ago are still on the market, and they have another 6 days to go before they sell. So I think that's a sign of actually an improving, healthy market. We don't want such anemic numbers that we don't have enough houses to sell, and that's what really compresses all the numbers down to baseline, not even baseline, but down to 0. By baseline, I mean like the bottom of the graph. So that is a good thing overall. Moving on to median sales price. Don't try to time the market is the takeaway from this. I'll give you the takeaway before we even talk about the numbers. In November of 2024, it was $303,500. And the expected range was between 302 and 320. So we were just in range. We're actually slightly down month over month, minus 2% from last month, but we're up 15% year over year. It spiked a bit in July at 325, but it's been hovering in the 3 to 320 range, 3 to 305 range ever since then. And that's kind of where it's been hovering all year. So slowly trending up. Story that I tell all the time is your home is not an investment. It's not a stock or a bond. But let's not kid ourselves. Your home is an investment. You're going to buy a home for $250,000, $250,000, $300,000. And if that's the median sales price at 303, that means that there's a home that sells for 606. And even more than that, because this is medians, not means. It is a sizable investment. When you buy your home, it will go up in value almost 100% of the time. The problem is profit taking. You can't. I mean, yes, you can. You can take HELOCs. There are such things as reverse mortgages, which I think are absolutely terrible. You can get value out of your home investment, but it's not the same thing as profit taking from an investment portfolio by any means. But let's assume that your $200,000 house increased to a $300,000 house in the time that you lived there, and now you need to sell it. You're going to sell it for $300,000. Yay! We made $100,000. Well, guess what? The next home that you're going to move into might cost you $250,000, $280,000, even the same $300,000. So you're not making $100,000. Hopefully you're not losing money. However, if you're going to a bigger house, you would probably have to have gotten a mortgage anyway. But if you're downsizing, this really holds true. Where I see a lot of people that want to sell the big family house. I mean, it's kind of the definition of downsizing, right? and then, they think they're going to take the profits and buy their smaller house, and they do, but they don't quite have the nest egg put away that perhaps we might have calculated 10, 15, 20 years ago. So don't wait for prices to come down. Everybody's like, Jeff, when should I buy? When's the market going to crash? Real estate is intensely local. It is hyper local. And you can read all sorts of things about the real estate market in America. But the real estate market in Lafayette and West Lafayette in Tippecanoe County is strong, shows every sign of remaining strong for the short term and for the long term. There are no guarantees in life, of course, but we have a strong academic sector with Purdue University. We have strong local schools, high schools, middle schools, elementary schools, Tippecanoe School Corporation, the West Lafayette School Corporation, even the Lafayette School Corporation that people want their kids to be in. We have a strong manufacturing base of both old line manufacturers and new high-tech manufacturers. We have Nanshan making aluminum. We have GE and Rolls-Royce making jet engines. We have a SK Hynix chip lab that is under development in West Lafayette that is going to bring billions of dollars worth of investment to the area. We have Caterpillar building engines. We have Subaru building four-wheel drive cars. We just have such a strong manufacturing sector that our local economy, our regional economy is strong. House prices are not in danger of going down anytime soon, if ever, here in the Lafayette area. So don't try to time the market. It's not going to happen here. Next up, sales price as percent of listing price. This is, did you get your asking price when you sold your house? Pretty simple. November, 96.7%, down 1% month over month, and neutral year over year. And the 100% line is this line right here. We never quite hit 100. We spiked at 99.2, and our low back in January was 96.5, and we're sitting at 96.7 right now. So 3.3% lower than asking price. That is simply accounted for in buyers asking sellers for closing credits. 3%. That's all that is. So people aren't going, hey, your $300,000 house is vastly overpriced. I want to buy it for $270, 10% off. Hey, I want to offer $200,000 on a $300,000 house, 33% off. Nope. People price their houses properly. If you're working with a real estate broker like myself, our job is to make sure that your house is priced properly. And I'm a data nerd. I love delving into the values of homes and figuring out what they are worth based on homes on the same street, in the same neighborhood, in the same school, in the same school district, in the same town, in the county, in the state, and providing you all of those numbers and that guidance as to what your house is worth. And I'm not the only one, of course, but I love doing that. And the best way to get a house sold is to get it priced properly. So buyers, if you think you're going to come in and make a lowball offer, this data right here shows that you are absolutely wrong on that. 96.7%, almost 100% asking price. Again, that's closing cost concessions is all that is right there. And that brings us to putting the entire story together. How is the housing market here in Lafayette and West Lafayette? Well, we've gone through a whole lot of numbers. I've told you a whole lot of things. We've gone in depth on those numbers. And the short answer is that the housing market is strong. If you put your house on the market, it's going to sell in less than 2 weeks. If you want to buy a house, you have to offer basically full asking price. If you want to buy a house, there are still not enough of them on the market, so you still have to move pretty quickly. There are more new builds coming on the market here in Tippecanoe County, in Lafayette and West Lafayette, and we're going to delve into some of those new builds in the coming weeks and months to start off the new year. But even with those new builds on the market, there still is just not enough inventory out there, and prices are continuing to appreciate month over month, is what this story is saying. So that's your monthly market update for the Greater Lafayette area. If you're interested in home here in the Greater Lafayette area, I'd love to be your local Lafayette real estate resource of choice. Please reach out to me. Go to thelafayettereal.com/YouTube and let me know how I can help you find home here in the Lafayette area. I hope you guys have a great week as we continue on through our preparations for the holidays coming up here at the end of the month. And I will see you again next Monday at 7 p.m. for At Lafayette Live. Have a great week, everybody.